So, a warm, warm welcome to our last day of this gathering. And I welcome everybody here in this room, and I welcome everybody following us online throughout all these 10 days and also now. I greet our friends and companions in the world. And for a last time for now, I light the candle. And I give thanks. Thank you, fire, for cooperating with us in such a beautiful way. Thank you for the protection that we've received. There were fires around during this time, very close to Tamera actually. And again, thank you for the protection and all the elevated awareness and consciousness of everybody here on this place. And thank you to the fire, to the water. And with giving thanks to the water, I also want to give thanks for all the tears that have been shed in this time. Tears of compassion, maybe tears of passion, tears of excitement, of seeing a new possibility for life on earth. And we will now have an hour, more or less an hour of finishing celebration, harvesting, giving thanks, also looking already towards how we can go on. And we will then let the day fade out in a cultural center afternoon with, again, networking possibilities and a celebration in the evening in the bar. Yeah. And before I continue to introduce this afternoon, I want to welcome Tjokasin and Annelies on stage. They will play an improvised music piece. Is he already here? No. So, that's great. So that's a great idea. So instead but before we sing a song together as community, I would love to invite Robert to sing a song with us, and we want to dedicate the song for the newborn. A healthy girl being born in Tamera yesterday evening. Thank you for this miracle of life.
Yesterday, yes. And today I also want to dedicate the song also to Benjamin, who has birthday today, and to all that lives with the song Matearoa Ka Ora E. Where there's love, there's life.
Matearoa,
Thank you. Thank you for the frequency of calmness and for the beauty of music and the contact in improvisation. Thank you. This felt already like an invitation on reflection. And I've spent some time last night and also this morning on traveling through those very full, intense days again. And I would love to do that with you as well. And I won't go through the days chronologically and tell you what the day schedule was on each day, but more give little content glimpses so we remember the abundance of wisdom, knowledge, potential that was shared in this time. So that was August 6th, I think, in the evening. We had our opening speech here in the aula by Martin Winecki, who talked about what is sacred activism. And he said that we create a message to humanity. Earth is a living organism, and we are an organ in it. We are interdependent. And sacred activism is a principle, a different principle of power. It is the power of resonance instead of the power of domination. The power of relationship and connection with everything that lives. Yeah, and then the next day we spent mostly in groups. We walked after the Ring of Power around the lake. You remember the Walk of Abundance. We spent the day in groups, and I was witnessing the activists group, and I want to share a few sentences that were brought there that stayed with me. And one was by Lawrence, I think he left already. What is breaking through in what is breaking down? We are all looking, and Pat, when we talked about what is activism, what is sacred activism, she said, I am activated by the sacred, and the sacred is life. We went on, we had on Tuesday the 8th, we had a speech of Sabine Lichtenfels, co-founder of the project, and one of the hosts. She spoke about living Earth, and she pointed out how we are all in some way refugees. We all have lost our tribal wisdom, our community knowledge, and our work today is to regain this memory. And she talked about the paradigm shift from cooperation instead of domination. Yeah, in the afternoon we were here in the panel of Turtle Island. I think this one moved many of us. And I want to call in the spirit of Toccata again, one of the young leaders, 13 years old, who said, even if there is a loss, there is always a win. We can always learn and move forward. And she said something like, I have so much time left to prevent so many dams from being built, so many pipelines from being built. My potential is huge because of the time I have left. 13 years old. Imagine how global youth begins to think like that instead of, oh, what should I do with my life? It's boring. And she said, water is life. Water is life is like a breath of fresh air. Water connects us all. We are all a part of that movement. And La Donna, we do not need a permanent structure like a camp or like an organization. What we need is a permanent thought, and that is the power we have. And water is life. It is not a standing rock thing, a native thing, or a country thing. This is a world thing. On the next day, we had a panel with representatives from the Global South, cooperation partners, long-term cooperation partners that Tamera has grown a strong relationship with. We have heard the prayer of Philip for Kenya, for the country which is in big turmoil right now, and still is. We have heard Claudio, who said, "Sometimes I feel like I am part of a much, much bigger plan. I don't even know exactly what that plan is, but I am driven by it." And Germán from the Peace Community in Colombia, who said, "The international community and being part of this planetary family has a spiritual meaning to me. It is this power that makes us continue walk the path of nonviolence." In the afternoon, we had a global circle afterwards, and there we saw Portugal showing up, raising their voices. And we saw the youth, and I want to also call them in again. The inspiration, and also I want to say how beautiful it was to see Toccata with her very educated, highly political voice being integrated in a community of her age, and the beauty and joy that entered her system with it. Yeah. Then 10th of August, we had a speech here by Delon Dieter Doom, co-founder of the project as well, partner of Sabine Lichtenfels, who talked about the power of vision. And you remember how he said and showed how he works on the monitor and how he sits and described how to envision Terra Nova, how to envision the new earth, and how it takes concentration and turning of little focuses of the consciousness until the images arrive and they come to you and you feel this is true. And when that happens, manifestation is almost there in the same time. And he said that the thought of this project is that through all cultures, all groups, all nations, we want to see the order of sacred life, the order of the sacred matrix, and manifest it here on earth. And those places that manifest it, they are like an opening into the structure of the world where the light of that matrix can shine into life, into our lives. Yeah, on the next day we had a panel with the Middle East, people from Palestine and from Israel. Saad, who says, "I say yes to life. I do focus on what I want instead of what I do not want." And how Sami Awad, he expressed his experience in the Sumud camp, the Standing Rock Palestine camp, where he said it was the most powerful activism he has experienced so far because community resistance in a place of resilience came all together. Yeah, I also want to bring in the spirit of Tiokasin, who in different places where he stood up and spoke or played music, he always brought the memory that we are permanently employed by Mother Earth. We are now initiated as protectors, and this employment, we cannot be fired. So after this 11th of August came the 12th of August. We all remember this really amazing, powerful action on the beach of Odysseus, which we had envisioned as a combination of political activism and ceremony and community, and it actually worked out perfectly. And there is an immense gratitude and gratefulness for this, for the spirit that was guiding through that day, through all of us. It is now widely public. The world is spreading the news about it. And I want to say that I was personally very moved in the moment where I stood at the gate and people came in, and then suddenly the stream of people coming in stopped, and still there was a whole line of words not filled yet with people. And I was like, oh, what do we do if this doesn't work? If we don't have enough people to fill the image, what then? And then just like 1 or 2 minutes after, from the very far end of the beach, the crowd came running to support and actually made it all complete. And the faces of the people who joined in, strangers, they were full of gratitude and, yeah, gratitude and happiness. And yeah, on the reflection day after, we heard also Benjamin speaking about the term of models and the plan of healing biotopes. And he used the term deep planning in relation to deep ecology, which I really liked, where he said, we do plan while listening to the plan that is inherent in life. So this is not a purely intellectual plan, it is a plan finding its words and its expression through us, but it is coming from life itself. And the idea of a model is a non-fear-based culture, not driven by the collective trauma. And he said, seeing such a vision for life on Earth, non-fear-based culture, this vision actually makes personal trauma and personal healing possible. And those communities. So I think we then entered group time mainly. We had a beautiful panel in the evening by women raising their voice for feminine peace knowledge. We had a beautiful concert from Poesia Samba Soul, 2 of them. Yeah. And we are here now. And thank you. I want to now read you a list of gratitude. That's funny, but we felt we want to name all those people who have been working and acting and supporting in the background, and I will say them all, and you have to hold on to your applause and thank you till the end so you can release it all at once. Otherwise, we will spend much more time here. Yeah. So, thank you to all the kitchens that have been running, feeding and nourishing us throughout all this time with abundance of food. Thank you to the technicians who have made sure that all of this happens, all of this can be live streamed, all of this can be videotaped and recorded and amplified. Thank you very much. Translation has been mentioned here and there. Huge gratitude to all those who made sure we all end up in the same space. Thank you. Thank you to all the caretakers who have made sure that this space and all the other spaces that have served as community gathering spaces are clean, are beautiful, are arranged in the way they need to be for the next thing. For those who stood in the entrance of the aula, giving us the smudge to enter a sacred space, lighting the candles. Thank you to those who have been working in the bar, in the cafe, in the bookshop, in the bazaar, to have this in-between free-flow spaces. Thank you to the office and the reception team and the shuttle team that has been driving you back and forth from the train station to here, checking you in, checking you out, providing you with everything you need for your stay. To the musicians, to every single music piece that has been presented here, contributing to the field. Thank you to the fire keepers, those that have kept the sacred fire while we were out there at the beach, while we were opening the ceremony in the beginning of the event, keeping the sacred fire. Thank you to all those who stayed with our kids, with our little ones, providing a space of home and creativity while we gather here. Thank you to the organization team of the action of the 12th of August, which was a huge thing to do, especially to Anna and Law. Thank you very much for everything you provided for us. And of course, John, the initiator. He also, I think afterwards, he took a long nap to recover from the energy output he has given us there. Yeah, and a thank you, very big thank you to the organization team of this event, which is Yanni and Rocio. You have almost never seen them, but in the background it is actually because of them that everything worked here. Thank you very much. Thank you to the group leaders who have held the 3 groups running. Thank you, of course, and mostly to the hosting team, to Martin, Benjamin, Vera, and Sabine, inventing, designing all of this and holding the threads together throughout the whole time, changing plans over and again because it needed to change in order to give birth to what wants to be born here as a new seed of hope. And I think my last, maybe, thank is to the media team. Also, they have been accompanying everything that was going on with cameras, with publishing, with work, that everything we do here can always reach out into the world. And there I also want to thank everybody involved, and especially Gail, who did a huge job in holding the lines and threads together to coordinate. Yeah, where is she? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And everybody I didn't mention. Thank you. Anchoring gratitude in the heart is actually something that empowers. And at last, I just want to also send greetings to Anna, who stood with me here in the beginning and who has been a red thread, we sometimes say, throughout these days as well. She has left already. Thank you to her as well. So now I would love to introduce Monika Alleveld. She will give us a very short speech, words from her heart. She is the publisher of this project. She is very, very close to the founding thoughts of the project, and she has created a gift for every one of you, and she will introduce this and speak some words to us. And after her, we will also hear some finishing words of Martin and Vera, hosting team, sending us off into the next time and phase that comes now. And as the final, we will again hear the Tamera Choir. Yeah, welcome, Monika.
Wow. What a already full program I'm talking into. And I want to give thanks again also for all those who came from far away, who contributed to this event. This is somehow a little bit, is it okay with a microphone? No, huh? Good. Yeah? Good. And I have a specific thank you for a man. Without him, we wouldn't have had this experience. We wouldn't have had this opportunity to gather. We wouldn't have had the community, the base station for this summer university. And I want to give thanks for this man. You already I think you know who he is, who 40 years ago had an idea. And this idea turned out to be what it is today. I want to thank to the author, Dieter Doom, who, no applause please, who, fortunately enough, met a woman, Sabine Lichtenfels, who was a pole, and between the two, the project could unfold. So I also give thanks to Sabine Lichtenfels and to both of them for making this experience we had possible. Both extreme poles, an intellectual, theoretical, conceptual mind on the male side, and an intuitive and medium force on the female side, both listening to the sacred and taking it into books, so that we don't have to listen that much and can only read. That wasn't the reason. But still, when I came to the project, this book by Dieter Doom was my beginning book, Towards a New Culture. From refusal to recreation. And I read this book thoroughly. I read it over and over again, asking myself whether I want to join this project or not. And I decided I wanted, and very often throughout this time, throughout a long time I've been joining this project, when I thought I wanted to leave, it's now enough. Why should I go into this experience? I remembered the vision I read here in this book. And for this vision, I couldn't leave it. And so I found in myself, through my example, I can generalize that a vision is what keeps us going. A vision is what holds us alive. And so the biggest gift, actually, we can make to each other is to make ourselves come close to a vision so that the vision can land in our heart, because this will give you the direction of your life out of the trauma. out of this, our past, into a future worth living, not only for ourselves, but for all beings. Dieter Doom and Sabine Lichtenfels wrote both books, and I want to mention another one Dieter Doom has written much later, in 2000, this thick book, The Sacred Matrix. We often heard this term in the last 10 days. He wrote it to put all his knowledge he had in all these years into one book, and he dedicated it for the next generation. So here, all his knowledge is there. You can read it from the power of prayer to the issue of sexuality, to the healing powers of life, to the political theory. Everything is in that book. You can read it from the beginning to the end, but the way how I used it and how I started to love it is that I read chapter and a chapter and a chapter, and I noticed every time when it ended, I had a smile in my inner soul. It always led me to the light. It always put a flame in myself on. And so I can only recommend you to buy and read these books and take it home, because they contain a vision for you and for your healing path. So I want to give big, big thanks to the founders of this project. Thank you. The books are in the bookshop, and I prepared a gift for you, which contains the latest articles by both Dieter Doom and Sabine Lichtenfels. I put them in this little envelope, and these are thoughts I want to gift you to you. And the first article has the title Defend the Sacred. It was written in April 2017 about a power that is stronger than all violence. And I want to read a little passage out of it. Dieter Doom writes, "What is sacred? A world where people practice solidarity and care for one another, even in times of need. This is part of the sacred. A world where children can completely trust their parents, and indeed all adults. This is part of the sacred. A world where the sexual interest of one person in another does not create fear, jealousy, or hate in a third. This is a part of the sacred. A world in which animals come closer to humans because we welcome them and they do not have to fear us anymore. This is part of the sacred. A world in which we see and care for earth and water as a living organism. This is a part of the sacred. When a rescuer reaches out a hand to a drowning refugee, this is part of the sacred. And when people pray for someone who is terminally ill and this person becomes healthy again, the sacred has achieved another of its countless miracles. We do not necessarily have to call it God, because the sacred does not need a name. It is the inner power that brings us all together and connects us eternally with all our fellow creatures. I was introduced to be the publisher of this project, and I want to tell you that I'm again in another phase of decision what it means to be a publisher. And through these texts and articles, there is a huge or a wild, sacred wind blowing, and I want to create a publishing house where the sacred is heard, where the sacred will get a place again on this planet, where it has pictures and music, where it has thoughts and concepts, where it has insights and stories, one place of perspective for this world, one source where we all gather our voices, ones that are really conveying the sacred voice, because our universe is consciousness. It has words. And in this sense, I'm recreating this, what is called the Publishing House of Tamara, and to make it to a vessel for the sacred. And I think I'm honored to speak here in the end of this meeting, and again want to thank you all for listening, and I say Amen, may it happen.
Thank you, Monika, for these words. And as a lot has been said already, we live in a time of great danger, but also of great opportunity. And I am very grateful for this gathering that has happened, because it feels very, very relevant to what is going on in the world at the moment. And I can only actually thank, in addition to the thank to humans, the spirit that we could feel so often operating through us, guiding us, making this convergence happen, and helping us make this work that we are here for together. And as Pat said this morning, we are doing this because we want to live. And in addition to the beautiful gift Monika prepared, or actually you can put it into this folder, there is one more document I would like to introduce, which is a work that happened in the activist group, where we were trying to bring essential thoughts of these 10 days together into a common declaration, a kind of manifesto for sacred activism, which we find now in its pre-final to final state, and we will publish it into the world once the signatures are there. And I'm thankful that we have this document to carry it with us out into the world, as this was a meeting point for a network that will continue growing to defend the sacred on this planet. And just a very few sentences from this manifesto to give you a taste. Water is life. Life is sacred. It is this sacredness that we defend. To secure our future, we have no other choice. We must protect the very things that our lives depend on. Humans have begun to separate themselves from nature and to stand as a dominant species that tries to control the natural world, unleashing global devastation. We now unite as a planetary community to stand together for the sacred, to midwife entrance into a world in which humanity no longer dominates but cooperates with all life. A world without violence and fear isn't an illusory dream, but the next chapter of our collective evolution. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I actually mainly want to say thank you for the depth on how we came together. And here I really want to thank everybody for bringing your heart and your love for this planet and the future for this planet that made such a global community gathering possible. And May, it feels like there were really crucial connections made between deep, different knowledge threads coming together, people from very different cultures, and it feels that it will have its ripples. So I really want to invite the mystery to continue informing us on all levels, and that the gratitude we feel, may we channel it into finding more and more the place where we really can raise the voice in service for the continuation of life and with the knowledge of life again. Thank you. And it goes on. We live together on this planet, with this planet.
Thank you. It goes on, are my words for making a smooth bridge. It goes on today, it goes on tomorrow, and I'll give you some brief information, and then we finish with the choir. So today, as I said, we will have the cultural center open, the bar is open, the bookshop is open. It will be open all afternoon, and I cannot repeat with these very beautiful words that Monica described what the publishing house is and the quality of books. So remember the spirit of it and pass by, get inspired, and get books for your continuation. It will be open from 4 on. And there are 2 invitations for this afternoon as well. One is from 4 to 4:30 for half an hour. Everybody who thinks about staying in Tamera now after this event and who hasn't made a registration or plans yet, please go to meet Helena. She will be sitting on the stage of the Cultural Center to see how it can continue for you. And there is another specific invitation to everybody who has time and space and wish to stay here for a whole month. We need support in the running of our community kitchen. So those who feel called, please contact Helena as well and find out about the details. That's from 4 to 4:30. And then from 4:30 to 5:30, there is another invitation in the Cultural Center as well for everybody who wants to speak and meet about the issue of blueprint and energy autonomy. All the work we do around renewable technologies and what the idea of blueprint is, please come and have a conversation with Bori, Barbara, and others. Ah, that's good. Thank you. Okay, so the correction of the invitation is everybody who has heard about the project, who knows about it, and wants to find out how one can connect and network around that topic. That's the invitation. Thank you. 4:30 to 5:30. And in the evening, the bar will be open, and tonight there will be also dance. So you are all invited to come and have a celebrative evening and fade out of this time. And for tomorrow, We continue in Tamera with offering seminars and courses. There will be a huge community course running next week, beginning next week. And already tomorrow, there will be a horse course with one free place for someone who is still interested. And the meeting place is at the campus terrace over there at 9:30. And the community also gathers tomorrow again at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the test field to have our community harvesting. Yeah, and now I invite the Tamera choir up front, and I want to say that after the choir, we would love to clap, give thanks, and leave the space silently. So we actually, for one time, we do respect the sacredness of this space, and we have our talks and conversations outside of the aula in the cultural center, and we leave that space. Also, maybe some people want to stay and continue reflecting a little bit. So we want to do this, and on your way out, you can pass by a table back there where you will find the gifts that Monica just mentioned, the little booklets with the texts. Okay, welcome Tamera Choir.
So, I wanted to give gratitude to our midwives to help give birth, and now that she's here playing flute, thank you for us. It's all integrated in this piece, and I want to greet, and she is singing soprano, the other one. Thank you, Karin. It's all integrated, shall be the gratitude to the human beings, but also to the earth and all elements and the Great Spirit. And it's a greeting also to the humaneness and the human consciousness in connection with the divine. It's also a greeting to all the peace workers all over this planet who dedicate their lives. Nuestra tierra.
nuestra tierra, ancha tierra, soledades, nuestra tierra se pobló de rumores, lazos vocales. Una callada sílaba y bardiento, congregando la rosa clandestina, hasta que las praderas trevidoron cubiertas de metales y galopes. Fue dura la verdad como un arado. Rompió la tierra, rompió la tierra, estableció el deseo, hundió sus propagandas germinales y nació en la secreta primavera. Fue callada su flor, fue rechazada su reunión de luz. Fue combatida la levadura colectiva. El beso de las banderas escondidos, pero surgió rompiendo las paredes, apartando las cárceles del suelo. El pueblo oscuro fue su copa. Recibió la substancia rechazada. La propagó en los límites marítimos. La machacó en morteros indomables. Y salió con las páginas golpeadas. Y con la primavera, hora de ayer, hora de mediodía, hora de hoy otra vez. Hora de ayer, hora de mediodía, hora de hoy otra vez. Hora hora esperada entre el minuto muerto y el que nace en la erizada edad de la mentira. La patria maciste de los leñadores, de hijos sin bautizar, de carpinteros, de los que dieron como un ave extraña una gota de sangre voladora. Y hoy nacerás de nuevo duramente. Desde donde el traidor y el carcelero te creen para siempre sumergida. Nacerás del pueblo como entonces. Nuestra tierra